Thursday, week 14, number 1. The first chapter of White Fang is called The Trail of Meat. Obviously, we need to capitalize the at the beginning of the sentence. First is spelled wrong. It should be F-I-R-S-T. All right, so first thing we have coming up here is White Fang. That is the name of the novel. So we can go ahead and we can underline the name of the novel, and then we would always capitalize the titles too. So White Fang would be capitalized. Now it's called The Trail of the Meat. Whenever you have a chapter inside of a novel, you put quotation marks around the chapter. Okay, The Trail of the Meat. Now the important words would be capitalized. Obviously the first word, trail, you would not need to capitalize of or the. Okay, those are just kind of little descriptors, so we don't need to capitalize them. But then you would capitalize meat then too. So the first chapter of White Fang is called The Trail of the Meat. Number 2, Dr. Johnson, our school principal, grown up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, Dr. Johnson, let's go ahead and give Dr. Johnson a capital J. Our school principal, that's in a positive phrase, renaming Dr. Johnson. So, Dr. Johnson, comma, our school principal, comma. Now, for principal, it is not the correct spelling. So, the one thing that they always say to remember with principal is you say the principal is your pal. So, prince, and then P-A-L at the end, principal. Okay, so they always say that's the best way to remember that. Instead of grown up, the Dr. Johnson grew up in Minneapolis, comma, Minnesota. Then you want to capitalize Minnesota too. Always capitalize the city and state. So Dr. Johnson, our school principal, grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Number 3 I thought was pretty simple. Just what kind of sentence is it? Declarative, exclamatory, interrogative. How could you have gotten here so quickly in the rain? It has a question mark right there, so we should know it's interrogative, okay, because it asks a question. Now, 4 and 5, they're looking for comparative and superlative forms. Number 4, of all breeds of dogs, poodles are the blank. So the key there is that they're saying of all breeds, and so they're saying more than one. Okay, or more than 2 in that matter. So whenever it's more than 2, if you have more than one syllable, like the word intelligent, you put a more or a most in front of it. So in this case, what you would do is it would be most intelligent. Most intelligent would be your answer. Okay, and then for number 5, poodles are blank than every other kind of dog. The wording's just a little bit different. So now they're just comparing poodles against every other kind. And so what they've done is they've created just 2 groups. Instead of here it has of all, and there's more than 2 groups, they've made just 2 groups, poodles versus every other kind. It's kind of weird, but it's just in the wording. So therefore, since there's only 2 groups, you go with more, because that's the comparative form, is more intelligent. So it's just a little bit difference in the wording. We haven't worked with comparative and superlative form too much yet. We'll do that at some point in the year, and so that'll hopefully make a little bit more sense as time goes on. That is all for Thursday, week 14.